Hello, and welcome to the Living Scary Podcast.
The podcast where we talk about real-to-real horror so you can live vicariously through us.
I just need a pack of cigarettes, Logan, and I like to watch and talk about horror movies.
And I'm just trying to get a gander at that dead body, McCall, and I like to talk about true crime and murder.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we're doing it. I'm excited about my part. Logan is depressed about his part.
Oh my god, it was sad. How are you doing? Before we get into it, how are you doing?
Before we get in the sad, I have one of those zits that is like taking over my entire chin.
I wasn't going to say anything.
You can see it? I hope not.
No, I actually was just shitting you. I can't see it. I mean, now that you've pointed out, now that you're touching it, it's getting redder.
It's getting redder now that you're touching it. It's one of those ones that's like under the skin and you can like feel it throbbing there and you're like, cool. It's just getting bigger. I can feel it getting bigger as I talk.
I've had this unicorn horn for about 2 weeks. Like it was really big. And then also I've been having like multiple zits popping up on my nose. And then they don't like, they're not like huge or painful, but they just pop up. And I'm just like, hello, Rudolph, would you please go away?
Hello, why are you here?
Yeah.
Oh, you know those things?
You?
You don't use Pinterest, do you?
I have one.
The end.
The end.
Yes.
I honestly, the only time I use it is when I'm looking up D&D maps and someone has like the map pinned to their Pinterest and I'll go like steal.
I look up a bunch of stuff that's like, what if I push this part on my foot, it will heal my kidneys or some dumb shit. Like my Pinterest keeps showing me like healthy stuff, but it'll be like, oh, if you break out here, it means that your liver is inflamed or something. And I'm like, is that real? Like, can a doctor tell me, is that a real thing or is that just bullshit?
I think it's bullshit because I also have seen those ones where it's like, if you have a headache at the front of your head, it's because of stress. If you have it at the back of your head, it's because, I don't know, you have like indigestion, like, you know,
or something.
Like, yeah, it's because your wife's cheating on you. I don't know, like.
But yeah, sorry, I liked that. Do you have a specific spot on your head that you get headaches, or is it just like all around town?
I pretty much like, if I get a headache, it's towards the front of my head. So if it's stress,
it's my front.
It's stress. It's stress.
Are we just stressed all the time? Is that what I'm learning?
I live an incredibly stressful life. Charlie looked at me and said the other day, because I was telling you about how I was scared about something or other. I have several fears. Like I grew up fearing that I was going to get like killed at any moment. I was like, I had so much fear. And Charlie's like, you've led a very like stressful and anxious ridden life.
Yeah. And how do we not have ulcers?
Yeah, right. I probably do. I probably have a tumor in my brain somewhere. It's like that Family Guy.
That's another thing I'm worried about.
It's just I have like a tumor in my brain, just going, I'm a tumor. 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 Oh, I'm a tumor. Just like in Family Guy. Like
I guess I do remember that. You got me. Oh no. It was a tweet that was like, I'm sitting here in my bed with anxiety levels of someone who's getting hunted for sport. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's what it's like every Sunday.
Every Sunday, right before I have to go back to work.
I don't know why. We just have that gene, that anxious gene.
Yeah, we're
just
anxious children. I think it's kind of a product of our generation, because our generation grew up knowing that the world's falling apart around us.
Everything's going wrong.
Whereas like our parents' generation grew up being like, the future is our oyster and we're going to take it and plunder it and make sure our children have nothing.
Let's keep using fossil fuels. Really double down on it. Don't think of any other options.
No, we can do better. We can change our mindset and change the future. That's how I'm trying to look at this.
Everything's okay. I'm talking normal.
I'm talking normal. I don't want to get depressing. More depressing.
I was going to say, do you want to talk about your part now?
Sure. So, I'm talking about the movie The Strangers. Before I get into my thoughts on this movie. What I'm going to say is this movie is good. This is a good movie. Like, this is not like, it's not like my other movies where I'm like kind of dunking on it because it's shitty.
Because it's the
like,
bye-bye man.
Exactly, because it's the pee-pee-poo-poo man. But this movie is very well done. It's very well written, and I think the acting was really good. So when I'm like saying things I didn't like about it, it's truly because I just didn't like it because it made me upset.
You got sad.
Because most horror does not really affect me because it's generally like very supernaturally based, and ghosts, vampires, werewolves, zombies, that shit is not real. It's not ever going to be real. It doesn't scare me. Demons, I'm a little more like
you're a little weird on that one. I don't know.
I'm a little more wiggly on demons because it's like, you know, it's like I believe in heaven.
More wiggly.
Well, because I believe in heaven, so like I also believe that if you believe in heaven, you have to believe in hell, and there's demons in hell. And so, what?
Do you have to believe in hell?
Yeah, that's kind of like it's two parts of the same coin. Like,
what if
heaven can exist without hell?
No, it can. What if the good people go to heaven and the bad people just go away? They just poof.
I mean, fair. I think that's fair.
Right?
That's fair. That's definitely a way of looking at it.
I'm just saying. Anyway, don't get stressed.
Yeah, we're not going to get into it. Yeah, we're not going to get into
Let's not get existential on it.
But like, I guess me personally, I am like, okay, so it's like demons.
Okay,
like,
demons are real.
Yeah, maybe not real, but like I don't know. It's hard. Talking about anything religion is hard, so I don't want to get into it. But like, demons freak me out a little more. Let's say that demons freak me out a little more.
Interesting.
But not like to the point where I can't watch The Exorcist.
Because I'm gonna watch The Exorcist.
But I'm gonna watch The Exorcist. But I will disallow anyone from speaking that demon's name in my home.
No, that's fucked up. I don't like that.
No, I'm not inviting danger and disaster. Like, I'm not doing that.
Like, I don't.
That's what I'm looking at. It's like, I'm not inviting it.
Yeah.
But it can, if it leaves me the fuck alone, it's fine.
I don't believe that Annabelle is real, but if I met her in real life, I'm not going to be like,
Exactly. I'm not going to fuck with her. Like, so there we go. I think that it's very like, I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to like actually go in and like mock it and like encourage it. But I'm also not, I'm not 100% sure that it's.
I'm just not going to fuck with it.
But I'm not going to fuck with it.
I'm going to do my own thing.
This movie, however, this is very real. This is home invasion. That is something that can happen and has happened.
And I've covered it.
As the movie makes abundantly clear at the very beginning when it says, the police estimate that there are over 1.4 million violent crimes every year. And when they said that in the monologue, my immediate thought was, that is a statistical anomaly. Actually, Violence Georg is an outlier. It's just one guy. Is an outlier and should not have been counted.
I mean, but like mostly it's like people that like I don't know what happens in this movie. But what I think happens is strangers, hence the name, come into someone's house and fuck up their shit, which isn't normal. Usually it's people you know. So take solace in the fact that your friends will beat you.
That is a thing in this movie. It's like, it's not totally stated that they are strangers. But I'll get into that a little bit. So this movie is from 2008. It's directed and written by Brian Bertino. Top billed cast are going to be Scott Speedman, who you would know as Michael from Underworld.
Oh shit.
And Liv Tyler, who you would know as Arwen from Lord of the Rings. And I will probably refer to her as
Arwen.
As Liv Tyler a couple times.
That's fair.
Otherwise, everyone else is kind of like not really that known. The girl playing Dollface is Gemma Ward. I feel like I've seen her in something before.
I like the name Gemma. I'll say it.
So you're from the UK.
I mean, like, it sounds like someone with an Australian accent would say it. Gemma. Nope, I can't do an Australian accent.
I would say, where is she from?
Accents are not something I'm good at.
But yeah, no, apparently she's not in anything. I mean, she's been in other things. She was in a music video of some kind. But yeah, those are definitely our top two are going to be Scott and Liv, who are playing James and Kristen. So getting into this movie, it kind of starts, if I remember correctly, the term is a framework story, where it kind of starts at the beginning. A very good place to start. No, it starts at the end. Like it picks up at the end and then kind of goes back to the beginning to like lead us to where we are now.
Oh, it's like, you're probably wondering how I got here.
Record scratch. Yep. No. So this one,
she's about to get stabbed.
But so it starts out with like these two boys kind of like going door to door. It's very interesting because like, so they're very heavily implied to be Mormon, but also these boys cannot be more than like 13. No, not even 13. They're like 10 to 12, somewhere in there. And I'm like, you are not, when you're doing the door to door stuff in the Mormon church, and we only know this because our family is Mormon, or our dad's side of the family is Mormon, you're a little older than that. Like, you're not like a 5-year-old going door to door.
You're 18.
It's not you're an adult. Like, you're not. So like,
also,
that was a little.
Any 10-year-old going door to door should have a Cub Scout leader with them or some dumb shit. I don't know why you're going door to door. Yeah.
So like, that kind of was a little bit like, I don't like, cause they're literally like Mormon boy number 1 and Mormon boy number 2. And I'm like, no, like
to talk about, I don't want a 10-year-old to tell me about Jesus.
It's like, no, they send like the people who go on their missions are adults. So it's like, if they were really gonna, so I don't know. It's like legally adults, because they have to, like, we've had cousins that have gone on their missions and uncles and everything. And like, they were adults. They had to go to different parts of the United States and other countries. Like, you can't be a child.
Let's send these 10-year-olds to Puerto Rico and just see how they do.
They are literally children. And they stumble into this like murder scene. So like, I was immediately like, oh, I was like, you clearly just wanted like young boys who are like religious types to figure this out, because this is not, if you're really going for the Mormon church, this is not the case. Unless I am wildly out of line here. Like, I know that my family has not gone on their missions until they were at least like in their later teens. So, but I'm not going to sit here and proselytize on a religion that is not technically
that
my
I don't
religion.
Practice.
Yeah. So, but I just know my family does. And I don't think that anyone has gone as a 12-year-old out to deliver pamphlets and talk about Jesus. I'm really giving into this because I don't want to talk about the rest.
Yeah, you are really getting into it. And I'm like, we are on the first scene.
I know. They discover this dead bodies, and then it kind of goes from there. And it's like a 911 call. Fun fact, the 911 caller is a different voice than either of the boys that are in this scene.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's just like, a lady.
They were like, you two, your voices are terrible. You sound like a faggot. You like,
I don't know why we cast you.
Yeah, fuck you. And then it jumps us back. And here's where I think this movie really shines, is like, this movie is only about an hour and 28 minutes long. Like, this movie is very short. And yet in this very short amount of time, they make both of our main characters very sympathetic and very much like, you don't want bad things to happen. Because basically it comes back. They just got back from a wedding. They're going to James, his father's like country house. And it's a little bit out in the boonies. And it's very clear that there's a tension between this couple when they come out. And so they got back from this wedding, and it turns out that at some point, we don't see like a flashback or anything, but it's very heavily it's basically stated he proposed to Kristen.
Liv Tyler.
And she rejected it.
couch.
But not in like a way that's like, ew, I hate you, we're not getting married. It was very much like I don't know about this. Like, you can tell that these two people love each other a lot, but she is very clearly like, I don't know about marriage at this point. Like, I don't know like what. And so on one hand, you can feel Kristen's like hesitancy, and like you can understand it. Like, it's like, yeah, marriage and being proposed to is a very big step. It's a very big thing. And on James' side, you also feel bad for James because you can tell he very much cares for Kristen and is hurt that she did not say yes and like did like, I don't know exactly. It never is actually stated how she phrased it. I don't know if she actually said like, no, fuck you, or if it was like, I think it was more of like, I don't think I'm ready for that. And like, it's very clear that when we get into this apartment, he had prepared for her to say yes. Like, there's like champagne, there's a bed with rose petals all over it. Like, he very like, so both immediately
he was really banking on it.
Both of these characters are very sympathetic, but like, you're also dropped into this moment of drama between the two where they're both kind of like what's going on? Like, we love each other, but our relationship's kind of taking a hit right now. And so, and like, if you know the movie, you're already like, like, and I already knew the movie, and so I was like, I don't want to watch.
It's gonna be a worse night for you too.
Exactly, it's just gonna get worse. And it does. Like, it starts with like this.
It does.
Well, it starts with this like young blonde girl knocking on their door, and she's like, "Is Tamara here?" And I'm not shitting you. That's basically how she says it, where she's like, "Is Tamara here?"
No, your place is getting cased. You gotta shut the door and cock your gun.
And they're like, "No, you have the wrong house." And she's like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Yes, I'm fucking sure. Dial 911 currently.
But like, her face is completely covered in shadow. Like, he even like is trying to like turn the outside light on, but he can't.
Because he doesn't understand light switches?
No, because the light's burnt out or something.
Someone came in ahead of time and knocked out the light.
And I'm not going to lie to you, from there, the night gets worse. Because, so after that whole exchange, Liv's like, hey, can you go get cigarettes? We don't have any cigarettes. Because this is 2008 and apparently everyone's chain smoking. But, so Scott, aka James, because I will be interchanging both of their names, but James goes out to get cigarettes in his car, and meanwhile Kristen is home alone. And I'm sorry, one of the scariest parts of this whole fucking movie happens right that, like, she's alone and she's kind of walking around, and that's what this movie does really well, is it builds the tension. It builds so much tension, it does it so well. And like, at one point, Liv's in the kitchen. Liv Tyler, aka Kristen, is in the kitchen, and it's a wide shot, so you can see like the rest of the living room. And at one point, like, she's in the kitchen kind of looking away, kind of doing stuff, and in the back, this man in this like sackcloth mask steps in, but still like is in the darkness, but you see him and she does not. And like, he just stares at her for like an uncomfortable amount of time. And I knew that it was coming, but even when I was watching it, I was like, oh, I don't like it. It's so scary. It was so scary. And then he just kind of melts back into the darkness. And it truly is like, oh, I don't like it.
But, I love that. That's so scary.
It is. It's a great scene in this movie, but I'm not going to lie. Me sitting here describing the next hour of this movie is not going to do it justice at all. Because basically the next hour of this movie, once James gets back, because God, I keep saying Liv. Kristen keeps getting like terrorized by the knocking at the front door. Like, this girl keep asking about Tamara, that kind of stuff. To the point where she's super scared. James gets back, and he comes inside. And while he's inside, his car gets fucked up. Both of their cell phones get like destroyed, basically. And they are essentially terrorized for at least the next 45 minutes.
Yep.
I'll give you some highlights from this, but like, one is like, and every time they're just tantalizingly close to getting out of it or getting some help. And it's so sad. But when the whole proposal thing fell through, James said, you know what? Because they very clearly are also going to go on like a road trip after this. And
really awkwardly silent road trip.
Exactly. So he said, you know what? This road trip is not going to be a good idea. He's like, tomorrow morning, you can take the car and go home. And then I have Mike coming. He's coming to pick me up.
Oh.
So one moment is like, and they're being terrorized in the interim.
Oh.
And at one point, James finds a gun. And in a moment of reprieve, they manage to bunker themselves up and they wait in a room with the gun. And Mike comes.
No.
And I feel like you can guess where this is going.
No.
Mike comes in. He eventually finds his way to the place where they're hiding. And he's like, hello. And then he gets shot immediately.
He's that Vine. Hello.
Yeah, hello. And of course, Mike is like James's best friend. Like, and so he shoots so like on top of being like terrorized by these people, he accidentally, in a moment of a complete accident, I feel like it's sad and it's terrible. He is not justified. It's not the word I'm looking for, but the action makes sense where he would shoot the first thing that came in. It just happened to be the wrong person.
It happens to be your best friend / the guy that's probably going to save you from the situation.
And I'm not going to fucking sugarcoat it. That's kind of when I was kind of like losing. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Fun fact, the guy playing Mike is Dennis from Always Sunny.
No, that's so cool.
It's Glenn Howerton.
Also, that's why, there are so many reasons I couldn't be a cop. But one reason I couldn't be a cop is because whenever you watch like a detective show and they're like going through the rooms and you're Clarice and you didn't check your 6, I would be shooting anyone and everyone who's ever walked by me.
Anyone who's like, help me, bam!
Bam! I'm sorry, you were too quick. I don't know.
Blam! You got a taste of the bitch pudding.
Like, I would be so afraid all the time that I would not trust myself.
But it is funny because like I was watching it. You don't see him a lot, but I was watching it. I'm like, is that fucking Dennis? But I never got a good look at his face.
Is that fucking Dean Cain?
The second I could get a look at his face, so I guess I lied. There is a top build. Glenn Howerton makes a very brief cameo in this.
Dennis is there.
He gets blown the fuck away. But that's when I started to like kind of clock out because I'm like, okay, I already know that these people are going to be like terrorized and killed by these people. But are you telling me on top of all of that, this guy accidentally shoots his best friend in a moment of self-preservation and self-defense?
Yeah.
Like that's
not my bag, baby.
No, I started like losing interest in the fact that I was uncomfortable and sad by it enough. But
damn.
There's another moment where like there's a radio that they go out to try and contact somebody. But as they're about to do it, one of the other girls comes up. There's 2 girls and a guy. There's Dollface, Pinup Girl, and Man in Mask.
All right, he doesn't get a cool name.
Yeah, and Pinup Girl smashes the radio. And then eventually it basically ends up with them being captured by these people. And we do get the iconic line of they're captured. It's like daytime at this point, which also subverts a lot of like, because usually it's like night. That's when the dangerous things, when things happen. That's when like the deadly things happen. And the actual like real terrible things happen in the daytime. So it's a bit of a subversion there. And like we get the iconic like Liv Tyler being like, why are you doing this to us? And Dollface, the blonde girl from the very beginning, kind of speaks up. She's really the only one that we hear from. Pinup Girl speaks a couple times. The guy in the mask does not speak at all. And again, I don't know if I'm just reading into this, but that's why you're listening to this, because you're trying to listen for my thoughts. I think it's because it's definitely it's showing us like an evolution of a killer, where it's like it's very clearly like, well, so Liv Tyler's like, why are you doing this? And Dollface goes, because you were home. And that's, I think, one of the true terrors of this movie is that this could happen to anyone. Because there are some people in the world that just are like this.
Oh, I was going to say, are you going to say the Batman line?
No, I'm not. I was actually trying very hard not to. But I also think that this is an evolution of a killer, because the man in the mask never speaks throughout the movie, yet he's probably one of the most imposing presences. This is a man who has killed people, will kill more people, and will not stop until he is stopped.
And is physically large and strong.
I would say he's very average looking. He's probably a little taller.
As a woman?
A suit.
Literally any man that exists, I'm like, you are bigger than me and stronger than me, and that really makes me ticked off.
Well, you're also like, what, 5'3"?
4, damn it.
Say like
sometimes
100 pounds soaking wet. Like,
I work out.
I'm do, and yet you have no strength whatsoever.
None, not at all. I just can't do it. I'm like SpongeBob when he's lifting up that
the shit out of people.
No,
you got to be like the John Mulaney bit where you got to get down on your back and you got to kick, throw them off their rhythm.
Throw them off their rhythm.
But like, and then we have the pinup girl who's kind of like the next like kind of seasoned person. She does not talk a lot, but she does have a couple lines. And then Gemma Ward, who's Dollface, she actually talks to them a bit and has a couple more lines. And in a way, I don't want to say she's sympathetic, because she's not, because she kills people. But like, she definitely has like a little more innocence to her. So I think it is like, it's definitely like a grooming kind of situation where they're grooming killers. And I have further things to support this. But anyway, so it gets to the end and they're both in these chairs, and it's pretty brutal. Because after that, like, they basically just get stabbed to death.
Oh.
And then stabbed, and I would assume tortured, because at one point they're in the chairs, and the next thing you know, they're not in chairs anymore. So like, who knows what else they had done to these people. Kristen is able to kind of like get over to like a weapon, and the man in the mask comes over and is like, huh, but he kind of leaves her. I think he just assumes she's going to die and kind of goes away, and they drive away in their car. And then as they're driving away, they drive past the two boys who are handing out the pamphlets, and they stop, and Dollface gets out of the car, the blonde girl, and she's like, can I have one? And like, they give her a pamphlet, and they're like, are you a sinner?
Does she have the mask on?
Nope, she does not have the mask on, but we still can't see her face. We never see their faces. They do actually, and this is another kind of scary thing, because it's like, we've talked about this before, when they're going to stab them and kill them, they take their masks off, but we never see their faces. But you and I know, someone who's masked, you're probably going to get out of it okay, because they're concerned about you seeing their identity, and they just want to get in and get out, get their things and go. When someone shows you their face and they're still threatening you with violence, you need to take it seriously, because they don't care. They think they're going to get away with it because you're going to be dead and you're not going to be able to give their identity. So that was kind of like a red flag in this one, where it's like, this is
there's a lot of red flags.
Yeah, there's many. This is a big one though, where it's like, they're not getting out of this. So, but at this point, they're not in their masks. And the blonde girl, Dollface, goes up, can I have a pamphlet? And he's like, are you a sinner? And she's like, sometimes. And then she leaves. And as she's getting in the car, pinup girl says one of her few lines, and she goes like, it gets easier. Next time it'll be easier.
Whoa.
And they drive away. And then the boys come back to the house, and we pick up where the movie began, where they find the bodies. And as one of the boys goes up to Kristen's body, as he goes up to see her, she lunges and she screams. So she is still alive.
Damn. But James died.
James is definitely dead.
We
get a shot of her where she's like kind of on the ground, but her eyes are closed. We get a shot of him where his eyes are doing like the dead thing where they're open, but he's like not breathing. But and here's why I think, also supporting my theory that Dollface is a little more innocent, and even if like this is like a grooming situation where she's not like into this because when she gets to the door at first, like after watching it and like having her be like sometimes, and then having the having pinup girl be like, it gets easier next time. Or and like when she comes to the house and she knocks on the door and she's like, is Tamara there? She seems very like, she's like, is Tamara there? And then they're like, no, she's not. And she's like, are you sure? Like the way that she says it is less of like a malicious, like, are you sure? It's more of like are you sure? So it's like, I think that there's a part of Dollface that doesn't want to kill them. Like, I think that she's trepidatious about doing it. Like she's like when she says like, are you sure? It's like almost like that's like them saying no and saying that Tamara's not here is like their code word of like, we're doing this. Whereas like, I think that the way that she like keeps like hounding them and like the fact that she keeps coming back and being like, is Tamara there? There's part of me that's like, is she really trying to scare them? Or is she just nervous about the act of killing them because she's new to this still? So that was kind of my thought process during this whole thing. So really they only kill James. Mike gets killed incidentally, and Kristen does survive, but like at what cost?
But yeah, okay. Ugh. All right. Also, really quick, I'm just looking something up.
I'll say, what are you looking up? I can see your screen changed, and I can see you're looking at something. So what are you looking up?
So I don't know if you remember this, but a while ago I did the Solder Children. That like
that was a long time ago with like the ladder and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, you remember the ladder?
With the ladder, and like they were like they had like a salesman who came by who was like, your family is gonna burn to death.
They're gonna die.
They're gonna die in there.
Yeah. Just when you said is Tamara there, that sounded really familiar to me. And it reminded me of the Solder Children because I know that so like the telephone rings at one point. And the mom of the family answers the phone and is like, hello. And there's like laughter and glasses clinking. She hears a woman with a weird laugh. And then she's like, you have the wrong number. And she hangs up and goes to bed. And I guess I don't see anything about like if they said anything specific. But for some reason, that reminded me very heavily of it. And I was almost like, are they doing like an homage? Not an homage. What's it called?
A reference?
Like a reference to it or something? I don't know. But that, honestly, like, it sounds like a huge bummer for Scherzies.
It's a huge bummer, but what I will say, very well written.
Sounds really good.
Very well acted.
Well done.
The cinematography is really good. So it's like, I'm not sitting here being like, you shouldn't watch this movie because it's a piece of shit. I actually do think that you should watch this movie. It's a really good movie, but just be prepared. It's a bit of a bummer.
The good people die at the end.
And inadvertently do bad things.
Also, if you are like, wow, that sounds interesting, but I don't want to watch it because it sounds like a bummer, I would suggest Hush, which is almost exactly the same. Like, it has very similar elements. Home invasion, killer with a mask, killer takes off the mask. It's super scary. But, like, incredibly different. Much more empowering and less, like, so sad. We all die. The end, you know? Does that make sense?
I mean, a lot of people die in that one.
In Hush? Yeah. Oh, a lot of people die. But, like, the main girl, I don't know.
Or if you want to go even further back, you could watch the movie that Hush was inspired by.
Oh, God.
And you could watch Wait Until Dark, starring Audrey Hepburn, where she's a blind girl basically dealing with the exact same thing or something similar. And does similar things where she like turns off all the lights so that the killer can't see where they are, but she knows where everything is because she's blind. So she lives in this house.
That's cool. Cinematography wise, I don't know how they did that.
It's very interesting because the way that the way that it's built, it's very much like a stage play.
Ooh.
Where a lot of it is like in this single set that looks very much like a stage. It's called Wait Until Dark.
I like that. One of my favorite horror genres that people don't talk about.
It's about a doll filled with heroin.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the reason that they're harassing this poor blind woman is because they think that she has this doll filled with heroin.
And I assume she doesn't.
I think she does, but she wasn't aware
on accident.
But she wasn't aware that this guy left this doll in her apartment.
She's blind. She's just picked up a doll and was like, cool.
I don't even think she picked it up.
It's just there. But like, okay, the horror genre of like scary stuff happens. Badass bitch decides to take matters into her own hands. And that's my horror genre.
And that's kind of what I was hoping for with this one. I was like, I hope someone kind of like...
I hope Liv Tyler gets really badass.
I hope she channels Arwen.
Stabs a motherfucker.
And whips out her sword and goes, you want him? Come and take him. And then stabs the other... It did not happen, though. Yeah. It did not happen, though.
No.
This was... But in that way... I also feel like it was a little more realistic. How someone would possibly react in this scenario. We all wish that we would be as whiny as she is, as much as she screams in Halloween. We all wish that we would react to a scenario like Jamie Lee Curtis or Sigourney Weaver in Alien. We all wish and hope that we would be that person in Crisis. But I'm not going to lie. I think the majority of us would be like James and Kristen. In The Strangers, where we might be able to pull it together, but we end up shooting our best friend.
I would 100% shoot whoever walked in that room. If I had a gun and I was afeared, like a snowman could walk in the room and I'd be like, that's it. I was trying to think of something friendly looking and not very human, and I came up with snowman. So that's where I'm at. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You seem sad.
No, I'm fine. I'm just having a hard time because on IMDb it's saying like, hey, you want to create lists of movies that you've seen? And then the first one is The Nun, and I want to lose my fucking mind. I hate
your
that movie
favorite
so much.
I had fun.
It was fun. It's so funny because like I watch like these like horror, like it's like 3 scary horror stories, and like one of them was like church related, and one of them was about The Nun, and I'm like, this is so fucking stupid. Like, because they're like not even saying like they're like the nun go and do these terrible things. I'm like, you're not even using the fucking nun, like the creature's name. Like, you stupid bitch.
You don't even get it.
I guess Valak might be like copyrighted at this point. I don't know.
Probably. Also, I didn't love that demon name. It's not very scary. I'll say it.
It's not. It sounds like a bad D&D character.
It does. It does.
Sorry if your D&D character's name is Valak.
It sounds like somebody's OC.
my Star Wars role-playing games character, his name is Venazi.
That's cool.
He's a Twi'lek.
Yeah, I knew it'd be some weird shit.
He's a Twi'lek. So he's like the ones with like, he's Elias Sakura.
Oh, I know what a Twi'lek is.
Oh, you know what a Twi'lek is. Okay.
I'm not a basic bitch.
Yeah, it's a Twi'lek. Yeah.
Also,
he's a scoundrel. So
if I was playing in your D&D game, I would 100%.
You are playing in my D&D game.
No. But in the Star Wars one.
Star Wars, yeah.
I would be whatever the puppet is that is with Jabba the Hutt.
I don't even know what that alien's
Brendan
name
talks
is.
about him all the time. That one. I would be whatever race of creature that is.
That tracks.
That is my character type.
I don't think that's a playable race.
Salacious Crud? Salacious Crumb. Got it.
Salacious
I'm the
Crumb.
best.
Well, what is the race, though?
I have no idea what the fuck Salacious Crumb is, but he's cool. Or I'd just be Jabba the Hutt's race, whatever they are. Slugman.
They're called a Hutt.
A Hutt.
Like they are the Hutts. Like
they are just they're big old slugs.
A Kowakian.
A Kowakian. Hell yeah.
A Kowakian monkey lizard.
Yeah. Checks out. Well, that's I'm saying.
Unfortunately, that's not a race I think that you can play.
That's not a playable character? No!
No, it's like you got your usuals. You got your usual suspects. You got like your humans, Twi'lek, droids, Bothans, Wookiees.
This is bullshit. I want to be a puppet or nothing.
You want to be a Kowakian monkey lizard.
I would also be whatever Yoda is. I'll do that shit.
I don't know. What are they called? I don't know.
If it was played by a puppet, it is fair game. If
it was designed by, Jim
Henson?
Jim Henson, thank you. I was going to call him Jim Hankins. And I'm like, nope, not right.
Jim Hankins.
Nope, Jim Henson.
All right. Is it my turn?
It is. It was a very short one for Logan.
I don't think it was that. I mean, like, I'm not saying it was long, but I feel like it was pretty normal, standard.
It's about a half hour.
Yeah. We did good. I feel like you gave very good insights, even though it was obvious you weren't a fan.
It was just sad. But I also, at the same time, recommend watching it.
If you like being sad, fucking do it. All right. So my turn. I got my information from Wikipedia, obviously. Morristowngreen.com, an article by Carolyn Dorsey, and then a Weird New Jersey article, which it didn't have like the writer, so that was weird.
Please tell me it's just called Weird New Jersey article.
Well, I wrote Weird New Jersey, like the site's called Weird New Jersey, and then they do like New Jersey stories, you know?
Jersey stories.
You're walking here in Jersey.
In Jersey.
I guess wherever this happened was around Jersey. But it was
you guess.
It was a long time ago. It was in Morristown Green. I guess maybe New Jersey. But in 1833, I fucking guess. Antoine LeBlanc is a French immigrant. He moved to America after he moved to America after his family disowned him.
I would say, wow. Okay.
Yeah. No. They disowned him probably because he's a piece of shit.
To the surprise of no one.
Nobody. So he went to America to make his fortune because people like to think that. But guess what? He came to America and didn't speak English, and everybody was kind of like, "Who the fuck are you?" And
he was like, "Who the fuck are you?
Who the fuck are you?" I
asked you first.
I asked you second.
You know what?
But he was Saison Marguerite because he was French and couldn't speak English.
And he said, would you like to have how you say ménage à trois? Are you serious?
Ménage à trois!
It's a fucking French word, you little bitch.
So Antoine ends up staying at this like farmhouse that was owned by Samuel Sayer and his wife Sarah. Shout outs to Sarah. It took me 3 articles to find her fucking name. Everyone else was like Samuel Sayer and Mrs. Samuel Sayer. And I'm like, fuck you. I hate when people say, and Mrs. blah, 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 husband's name. I'm like, she has a first name at least.
And
Can we give her that?
And Mrs. now she's owned by this man.
But it was 1833, so she kind of was.
Okay, well, a marriage was a property exchange at that point.
Yes, he got her for 2 cows and 1 chicken or some dumb shit. So in exchange for doing farm work, he was able to stay on their farm. It was horrible, awful hard work. They did not pay him actual money. He just got to live in their sad, gross little basement of their farmhouse. And he basically had to take orders from everybody, which included the women. Which, ew, am I right, everybody?
Am I right, ladies?
Ladies? So Sarah would boss him around, and they also had a servant named Phoebe, who also maybe was a slave? ? A lot of articles were like, their servant Phoebe, who was maybe a slave. Like, all of them said maybe a slave. They weren't all that sure, but Phoebe was there. So, Antoine, not very used to having people tell him what to do and to be in charge of slopping the pigs, wasn't loving his new American life. And he didn't...
living it up.
Living it up. He was not living it up. So, one night, Antoine goes to the local hotel for a drink, which I assume is just the only place in town that you could get a drink. He ordered a brandy and just kind of hung out forever until like 10:30, which is when most people went to bed because they worked all day and they were very, very tired. He goes back to the farm and he calls Samuel out to the stable because there's a horse emergency. And Samuel is like, okay.
Oh, God.
Oh, geez, the horses are...
The horses.
They're screaming again.
I own.
And Samuel walks out to the barn and then gets immediately, like, brained with a shovel.
He said, I'm done.
So he goes down. And then Antoine's like, hey, Sarah, you gotta come handle this horse emergency. And so Sarah comes out and then gets also brained with a shovel. He then hides their bodies under a pile of manure, which is rude. And then he goes inside, and Phoebe is asleep in her bed, minding her own business. And he goes into her room and caves her head in with a club, which is like not very cool of you. He then ransacks the farm, which he could have done all this quietly and then left without killing anybody. Like, if his plan was to ransack the farm, murder wasn't necessary.
No, he could have just done it.
So I think he was just, like, butthurt that they were bossing him around and he wanted to kill everybody. I'm pretty sure it was a long time ago, so I have
It was 1830, whatever. It was so easy to kill people back then.
Yeah, I'm sure he was like, what are they going to do? Test my DNA? Ha! And then he walked away. But...
Not for at least... You should have thought about that before you became peasants.
So, he ransacks the farm. He takes all the cash, jewels, and clothing, which I don't know how many jewels they fucking had, but... And then he goes on their farm horse to the next town, basically. He gets a room at the tavern next door. Next door is in, like, a town over, which is probably, like, I don't know, 50 miles. So, like, a crazy amount, like, a long ways to go. And then he's immediately fucking caught because he's a dipshit. So, basically, he takes all their shit, hastily shoves it into a bag and gets on a horse, and then just, like, cartoonishly, just all the stuff he stole is, like, falling out of the bag behind him. And, like, as if a trail of breadcrumbs were being left for anyone to find him.
And Gretel.
It was. But, like, monogrammed pieces of clothing from the people he killed were falling out of his bag.
Oh my God.
People were like, well, I guess Samuel's fucking dead. So, people pretty much notice the, like, clothing scattered on the ground and are like, that's weird. They check on Samuel and they're like, oh, Samuel and Sarah are definitely dead. They get a search party, definitely snatch him up. It's the old times.
And they're dead. We're never going to find the killer.
Oh, wait, just kidding. We'll just look a block over.
So he's a dipshit.
He's a dipshit. So they take him back to Morristown and they try him for murder, which is basically like a guy standing there and being like, I mean, he obviously fucking did it. And everyone else being like, very good argument. And so he's found guilty. He's sentenced to death by hanging. The judge, Gabriel Ford, sentences a post-execution medical dissection, which
means they cut off his penis.
They do a bunch of weird shit to him.
Yep.
Like, I don't really know. I think this was just out of spite because in this time period, doctors were looking for bodies constantly because
they truly were.
they wanted to study the human body, but people were like, you can't study mine. Because people thought that if you did that, you would not go to heaven. So...
But they hated this guy, so they're like, you.
Yes, you get to get dissected, which I think is pretty much why they did it, because they were like, oh, it's a grave assault to your human soul is to get dissected by the doctor, which, like, he's dead.
Well,
so
he already did some bad stuff, so
he gets to
his
go.
His soul is forfeit anyway.
But in this time period, they were like grave robbing. I was gonna say raving grobs.
Raving grobs.
They were raving grobs. They were Jesus fucking Christ, grave robbing.
They were Grobbin Raves.
They were Grobbin Raves.
That's the name of the episode, is Grobbin Raves.
Grobbin Raves. And then so they're like, haha, you get to get dissected. And
to a dead body.
Yeah.
You get to be dissected.
No. He's sitting in his little cage before they dissect him, and like a crowd of people are like, I don't know, poking him with sticks and shit.
Throwing shit at him.
It's bad. So he's hanged in Morristown Green, apparently in New Jersey, in September 6th, 1833. And everybody...
Possibly in Michigan.
Possibly, but most likely in New Jersey. Everybody gets up.
No.
That is the scariest fucking video you've ever shown me. I did not.
Really?
I hated it so much. Everybody wants to see this dude die. So, like, there's 12,000 people that come to watch, which is like quadruple the size of the town itself.
I would say that's a lot of fucking people.
Yes. The articles that I explained were like, people came and brought their lunches, but some people didn't bring their lunches and they went hungry.
And they were stupid.
Yeah. I think what they meant was like the town couldn't provide enough food for anyone who didn't bring their own.
Did they like have a coliseum for that?
It's like, so they're in a fucking field, I assume. And it's a big field and there's like hills to the one side and like the town to the other. I need
to clarify. Do you mean 12,000?
12,000.
Okay,
people.
not 1,200.
No. 12,000.
That is so many fucking people.
It's so many people, especially for this time period. But like,
yes, especially for this time period.
People are standing on roofs. People are climbing trees because they want to watch this guy die.
Because it's the old times.
It's the old times, and this is TV. This is entertainment. This is...
Are you not entertained?
It is that moment, but like he's not hanging yet. But like, okay, also, other fun fact that I find crazy pants. They made a special gallows, like they like made like a prop for this event where they like had the ironworks construct a gallows that he would drop. And then there was like a pulley system that would hoist him 8 feet in the air so that all of the people that had gathered could see him hanging there and like dangling. Like,
Jesus, that's a bit morbid right there.
They knew that people were going to line up for this. And they were like, we gotta get a special gallows for this event.
When you say 12,000 people, what I picture is that scene in SpongeBob where they're like, who's number 8,453? And it's just like, oh!
Yes. That amount of noise was coming. Like, this dude, I mean, maybe he felt famous at that point because that's the most people he's probably ever seen in his fucking life.
That's most people that most of them had probably seen in their fucking life.
Yeah, I'm sure they were just like losing it. But like
that is what that's like I keep wanting to say Wigstock, but it's not Wigstock. What is it? That's the Wigstock is the drag queen version, but what's the real one?
Ragstock.
No, stock. It was like the music festival.
Woodstock.
Woodstock. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's like Woodstock, but like the 20 to
but
the
like
2000s,
we're hanging a dude.
but like the 12,000s one where they started
Yeah.
riots and shit and started like diving into pools of shit.
Yeah.
Have you
like
seen
the really
that?
bad one.
Have you seen that documentary about it?
I am aware that it happened, but not a lot.
I watched the 4-episode documentary with Charlie. It was insane.
Oh,
People were literally like diving and going through like the slurry of like water that was like mixed with the latrines. They were literally swimming and diving into pools of human feces. Like, it was revolting. I would have been gone like within the first couple hours. I've been like, deuces, this is not.
It took you hours.
Well, no, because at first
I thought you were going to say minutes.
No, at first it started out okay. At first, like the first day or so was like it was a little crazy, but like
they were playing music and
anyway.
shit.
I'm sorry. So like we have the Woodstock of hangings happening here.
It was Hangstock over here.
Hangstock.
It was great.
Hangstock, 1833.
And so like he hangs there. There's like someone who said like he squirmed for like 2 minutes or some shit. Like someone wrote a diary about it and they kept it.
Okay, so clearly that gallows was not built correctly because they're supposed to drop and then immediately snap their neck. So if they're dangling, if they're wiggling, that means that they didn't construct it right.
But if you're like,
but if you want them to suffer, I guess like
if I, a horrible person, was going to construct a gallows, yes, they would hang there for like 10 minutes or so while everyone watched. Like in the Salem witch trials, they just had them jump. Like you're just on a big, thick tree branch and then you just had to jump. So like your neck did not snap.
Which was so baffling because it's like, okay, if you die, you were a human. If you live, you're a witch.
You're a witch.
But you're going to die.
And we are all fucked if you're a witch.
Yeah, and it's literally gonna be The Simpsons where you're gonna rise from the you're gonna fly away on your broomstick and curse all of us.
Yes. So, but yeah, so this dude, like I don't know, probably died right away. I don't know. But anyway, so he dies. They take his body down from the cool, different, weird gallows, and
super special, weird gallows,
the super special kind. And then his body is I don't know, dissected by Dr. Joseph Henry and Dr. Kane Field. They're professors at Princeton.
And they found lots and lots of tumors.
Ooh.
A Far Side calendar. Wait, really?
And then they also made a death mask. Like, that's the first thing they did. Which, as a person that reads these morbid things, I've heard the word death mask a lot, and I don't know what that is or why they would make it. There's many reasons. I looked it up. A death mask is a likeness, typically wax or plaster cast, of a person's face after death, usually by taking a cast or impression of the corpse. There are many reasons for a death mask. Usually they're famous people or someone who's very important. They want to, like, remember them and kind of like a statue, but like their fucking dead face, I guess.
Like La Canue de la Seine?
Maybe. If I knew what that was, maybe, possibly.
So, La Canue de la Seine is the death mask of a woman who drowned herself in the Seine River.
Yikes.
And when she was kind of fished out, they made a death mask of her, and her death mask was so beautiful and pristine, like amongst like some like morbid art collectors, like people, like she was like a work of art. They would like display like her death mask, like La Canue de la Seine in their house.
Yikes.
As like art. And fun fact, La Canue de la Seine is also touted as the most kissed face in the world. The reason for that being, I know that sounds immediately weird based on that, but the reason that is because the training dummies for a mouth-to-mouth resuscitation are based off of her face.
What? That's such an interesting fact that you just dropped.
So, La Canue de la Seine. If I'm saying it right, I'm not French, so nor do I purport to be French or speak
You're not
French.
Antoine LeBlanc.
Yeah.
Like, Well, holy shit. Well, that kind of goes into my next point. If you weren't like famous or important for some reason, or this random lady that they fished out of the Seine, another reason that they would make a death mask is for science, aka making your death mask the way they do CPR. So death masks were used by scientists in the later 18th century to record various human, physiognomy. Yes. It's got like the G in the middle for no reason, but it's silent. One of those words. Physiognomy is the study of it is the practice of assessing a person's characteristics or personality from their outer appearance, mostly the face. So this is pretty much a pseudoscience now, but at the time, people kind of thought like your facial characteristics kind of meant what you were like.
Oh, yeah, like it
kind
was
of
like the
phrenology.
study of like phrenology, like where it's like the lumps on your head mean something, like that kind of thing.
So yeah, like there's phrenology, which is like the lumps on your head. If you got a weird lump on your back forehead, that means you're a weirdo or some dumb shit.
You're statistically, categorically wonderful lover.
You got big meat. I don't know.
Yeah, that shmeat. You be slaying that shmeat.
But I think physiognomy is more like just the actual, just general characteristics of your face, which a lot of people later were like, you're just being racist and kind of profiling people. And scientists were like, okay, never mind. We're not going to do that anymore.
Or you be slanging that schmeat.
So I'm thinking they probably took the death mask because he was a murderer. So they were probably, as scientists, taking it to study physiognomy, to be like, oh, if you look like a Frenchman, then you probably killed a farmhouse full of people. I don't know. But some science reason. So they took the death mask and then they started to electrocute parts of the body for experiments. They exposed the nerves on his arms and legs and they applied electricity to make him dance. And they put electricity in his face to make him like make a weird smile. And they were like, check that shit out. They don't let us do this often. So they were having a party.
They were like, they hated him, so we can do whatever we want.
We can do the weird shit we usually don't do.
We can zap electricity into his schmeat.
His big schmeat. So they then dissected him further. I'm assuming they did science in there. And then they also skinned him.
They made cubed steak.
They ate him. No, they skinned him and they tanned his skin at the local tannery and they made charming little keepsakes in parentheses.
That's a little okay. That's the step too far.
It is.
That is the bridge too far. Like
that's why I'm talking about it.
That's a little like, okay. Like definitely do the science. Like definitely do the science.
You don't want a tasteful wallet? I assume they probably weren't very good wallets.
Yeah, they fell apart.
I assume human skin isn't like.
I mean,
good.
it's. I don't know. Like, what is the?
When I looked,
you tanned it and you did leather.
The weird New Jersey article I read, they went to the sheriff's office, or whatever police department, and they have these things still exist, and they looked at them and shit. And in their article, they were like, it was very delicate and not a good wallet because it would fall apart.
That makes sense. I feel like human skin's not meant to be tanned and leathered.
You shouldn't do that. No. But
stick to pleather.
Stick to just fake. Just make it fake. Okay.
Just make the fake shit.
You don't need. I don't know. But anyway, a lot of people.
That's
in
another
New Jersey,
debate we don't need to get all into.
They had made wallets, purses, lampshades, and book jackets, all out of this man's skin.
big was this guy? Like, he doesn't have that much skin.
They were tiny little lamps. I don't know. What the fuck? They sold pieces of his skin on the street that were signed by the sheriff to verify the authenticity of the skin.
That's a little much.
It's a lot of much.
No, just a little.
Antoine's execution was the last public hanging in Morristown. And after they just blew their wad on that new gallows, too, I feel kind of bad. The poor town had to pay money and then never do another execution.
Does that gallows still exist? Or did you melt
they
it
probably
down
took it down.
Scrap?
There's no way they kept that up.
Didn't even get to keep my damn tiara. Had to melt it down for scrap.
And then in 1995, on Halloween night, I don't know how much I trust the Halloween night thing, but at least on Halloween, they were liquidating the estate of a deceased man named Carl Scherzer. Yeah, sure. And they found Antoine's plaster death mask in his basement. They also found a coin purse made of skin in the same house. Carl was basically an unofficial town historian, and he had gathered old historical artifacts during his life. So they kind of found this weird treasure trove of this dude's body parts and death mask, basically.
I know it sounds fucked up, but that would be really fucking cool.
So fucking cool.
To discover oh, holy fucking shit, are you serious?
This purse is made of skin. Yeah, no, it would be wild. I'm sure
man has one arm. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
What we're not going to do is we're going to ask him any question. Oh, we're going to ask him.
We're going to ask him about it. So, and I mean, kind of also in the Weird New Jersey article was actually a lot of the articles that I glanced by was the sentiment that there are a lot of homes in New Jersey that maybe possibly have a human skin wallet in the attic that great grandpa had and that he passed down through the family that people just don't talk about because they don't want to tell other people they have a human wallet. But some people in New Jersey fucking do. And that's crazy pants. So that's pretty much the end of my story, but I really liked that one.
Yeah.
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 All right.
Well, you know what they say. You sing your own kind of music and you sing your own special song.
Someone said that. You did just now.
Yeah. No, it's a song. It's a meme song it's a meme song that's going around right now.
Oh, I'm not up to date with the memes.
I feel bad for this poor artist. I believe her name is Mama Cass. And the way that it's a song called Make Your Own Kind of Music, and it fully was from the 70s.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I've heard that name before, so I don't feel like she's recent.
No. But it's a good song. It's a great song. Well, she also did California Dreamin', but Make Your Own Kind of Music is make your own kind of music, sing your own special song. And it was, I don't know. It's a meme that's happening. It was to be current. It was to keep us current, McCall.
We're not current.
Not in 1833.
I just did a story about 1833.
And my movie was from 2008.
So we're wearing denim suits or whatever they did in the 2008s. Do you remember when
Britney Spears and Kevin Federline wore?
Was Kevin Federline? I thought it was Justin Timberlake.
I'm pretty sure it was Kevin Federline because I'm pretty sure that was her boy. K Fridge was her boyfriend at the time.
K Fridge?
Well, okay, it was K Fed. Well, no, it was K Fed when he was her boyfriend, but then he broke up with her and he got fat, and everyone called him K. Everyone called him K Fridge.
All right, well, get him. But damn,
because we stand Britney in this house.
We do, but we don't make fat jokes. That's not nice.
No, it's hard. We also don't make fat jokes.
Make fun of him for his hair or something. I don't know.
Make fun of him because he's a dick.
He's a dumb dick. I don't know.
It's low hanging fruit to make fun of somebody because of their weight.
Also,
Go
it's not
deeper.
very.
It's also more fun to make fun of people for their insecurities.
Their insides.
Oh my God, McCall.
What'd
So
you
Charlie
do?
showed me this video. It was a Saturday Night Live with John Mulaney. And like he was like, it's a drag brunch. And like John Mulaney was like in this shitty drag. And like they were like, okay, well, this drag queen's gonna read you, like it's gonna be fun. And like they're like, oh, and like John Mulaney comes out and he goes to like some people like, oh girl, your hair is so frizzy. You better get it some water because she's thirsty. It was very much like, and then he goes to one guy and he like looks at him and he's like, has anyone ever genuinely smiled when you've walked in a room? Has anyone ever, I'm like, that alone is such a fierce read. Has anyone ever expressed joy upon seeing you? Like, it's just going so fiercely in on this one person.
Damn. I actually love that. That's a great sketch idea.
You should watch it. It's really funny. It's on YouTube.
I love John Mulaney.
But just like, has anyone ever genuinely smiled when you walked in a room? Like, just like, damn. Just going for the jugular immediately.
I love that. Do you have a sibling story for me?
I do.
No.
So my sibling story, unfortunately, does not involve McCall, but it was something that happened to me.
It has nothing to do with my sister at all.
Well, no, it happened to me, and I'm a sibling. I'm your sibling.
That counts.
I don't know if you could recall, but I am. But so I have a wonderful boyfriend by the name of Charles Fauntleroy Stripworth Calcahoom III, and I don't know if you do, but I spend the holidays with my boyfriend and his family when I can.
I can.
And we were at his family's house. I can't remember whether it was Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. But we were over visiting his family and it was fun. But unbeknownst to me, behind the scenes, Charlie had devised a devious prank with his family because he knew of my disdain for the movie The Nun. And Charlie told his family, he's like, if it comes up, I want you
as it would in a normal conversation.
Well, because I'm sure at some point he would steer it towards this. But like he was like, if The Nun ever comes up, I just want you all to act like it was the greatest movie ever. And I did not know about this. And so at one point, I was like, I think it was literally like either before or immediately after dinner. Like everyone was still around the table and we were all kind of talking. And someone just brought up The Nun. And all of a sudden, Charlie's brother, sister, mother, and father all were like, oh, wow. Yeah, no, The Nun, that was so
what
great.
A good movie.
They were like, and they were just, of course, at the time looking back, they were just saying very general things. Like, they're like, I really think that like the ambiance that was created by the movie was really great. And like, I'm sitting here and Charlie is enjoying me sitting there be like, how, because like, I think that Charlie and I had only been dating for like maybe a year or two at that point. Like it was still a little newer. And I'm like sitting, and in my mind, I'm sitting there like, oh my God, how do I reconcile with the fact that my boyfriend's family
has no taste?
And I was like, but at the same time, I'm like sitting there just like,
yes. Good dinner.
Good dinner. Hey, I would try the chicken. It was lovely. But then I was granted a reprieve because Sarah, Charlie's sister, her partner was there. And he spoke up and he goes, well, that movie sucked. And no bones about it. Just immediately was like, that movie sucked. And then it like after that it kind of fell apart. Like once it became like, but like there was a moment where I was like, oh no, oh my God. And it was a pretty good damn prank. I thought it was pretty funny. But at the time there was a moment where I was like, oh no, how do I tell Charlie's entire family that they're wrong? And then I was like, I've decided I cannot because I like these people. So
I have to take this to my grave.
Yep. I was like, I love these people. They're all wonderful people. And if the only problem that we ever have our entire relationship is that the movie The Nun is something that they love, we will deal with it.
I guess it's okay.
It's James Wan at least.
I do like him, so I'll give him that.
I like him, and I like a lot of his movies, just not that one.
Not that specific one.
But that was my sibling story.
That was a good one. All right. Well, if you've made it this far, if you're still with us, you should send us...
It's only been an hour.
No, I know, but usually people stop listening at this point because the stories are done. But if you are still here, you are my favorite. So just keep that to yourself. Anyway, you should send us.
That was me giving just a little kiss on your forehead.
Aw, that's cute. I also did.
Or wherever you want me to kiss it.
I was just the forehead. I want that to be clear.
I'll kiss you wherever. I like peanut butter off of anywhere. Anywhere.
But if you want to send us your own sibling stories to be read on the podcast or not, if you just feel like chatting and don't want it on the podcast, that's fine. I like talking to people sometimes. You can send it to our email at livingvicariously@gmail.com. That is an option. You also have livingscarypodcast@gmail.com as well, because we're also there. We are also
Would you say, just a little off topic, would you say that we're both kind of outgoing introverts, where we both we enjoy talking to people? We don't mind it. We like talking. But the second that it's over, we're like, thank God, get the fuck out of my face. I need my alone time.
I need to recuperate. I think I am the definition of an introvert, which is I don't want to talk to you, and I get weird about it, and I freak out, and then I'm exhausted. But like, if you want to DM us or send us an email, I love that. It's so fun.
I will talk to you.
One of us will respond.
Also, I need the login for the email because I got kicked out.
Low-key, I got kicked out. Well, you can find us. Logan can't, but you could. On Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. We're Living Scary Podcast. We're also on Tumblr, which I think is very funny. I reblog a lot of funny things.
You curate that shit. I do.
God, it's so funny.
I give it like a week or two in between viewings because you always just curate that shit. It always, at least one of them makes me guffaw.
My thing about Tumblr is like I don't post, other than like when we post a new episode, like that's original. But I don't have like original funny things that I say. But I reblog things and I'm like, gosh, exquisite taste.
I still go back to that original like Tumblr post that's is reblogged all the time, where it's like, how is any of this considered blogging? Like, it's not. It really isn't.
But I love it. And I love it. But yeah, so please find us, talk to us, DM me, talk to us. We're fun. We're great. I'll respond. Logan might.
Once I give us sponsors, once I'm in, we're going to be getting fucking sponsors because I'm not going to forget.
I did forget. I did.
You did. And now we could have been hawking energy drinks.
We could
be making munty hunty.
You can email them back. I won't.
At this point, it's a little embarrassing to do that.
I think you fucking should. I honestly,
if they hear this and reach out again, I will give them my apartment address.
They literally are in our email.
It was like, it's almost a half a year at this point.
It's a little
embarrassing.
You don't know nothing about nobody. You're just saying
you know
shit.
Nothing, Jon Snow. Like,
you know nothing. I'm looking it up. I'm telling you exactly how long ago it was.
Sing your own special music.
Bitch, it was in September. Yeah, that's fine.
It's almost half a year ago, McCall.
Really? What month is it?
It actually is a half a year ago.
Fuck you. All right, well.
March.
Sorry.
March, April, May, June, July, September. No, so March.
You...
Oh my God, no! So,
July, September, yeah. I passed kindergarten.
Oh no! I fucked up. Oh, Stella.
Oh, Stella, my child.
I laughed and she like got up and she was like, she does this thing that all dogs do, I assume, where she goes, oh, like the second that like I get up and she like has been laying there.
Stupid.
Father.
He doesn't know the month. I love her.
March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So yes.
He did it, everyone. He counted the months.
God, the bar has never been lower.
He used his fingers, though. I need the audience to know that.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. I used my fingers the first time, too.
And yet you just said random months.
October. Catil's
February.
Shit, the smarch weather. What is my hair doing right now? What is this?
I don't actually know. It's just up.
What color would you say my hair is? Is it brown? It's such a weird color.
I'd say brown, but like almost. Is this what dirty blonde is?
It's so dirty if it is blonde.
All my life,
like,
I've read the phrase.
Brown.
My hair's
your
brown.
hair is brown.
Yeah.
My hair is like, oh.
I've read the phrase dirty blonde my whole life and been like, I don't know, just like they threw some mud in her hair. I don't know what the fuck that would look like.
Oh, I've heard the phrase dishwater blonde. I'm like, what the fuck is dishwater blonde?
Disgusting. She's got shit in her hair.
She's got shit in her hair. We've gotten so off track. Should we just end it?
We should just end it. So yeah,
I've already embarrassed myself.
Anyway.
It's like, hi everyone. August doesn't exist. Boo. Bye.
It's not a real month. Bye.
Hello and welcome to the Living Scary podcast.
I forgot about my part. I was like, do not yawn right now.
You were staring and I was like, oh, that must not have been good. Okay.
I wanted to yawn so bad.
I gotta yawn again. Holy shit.
God damn it.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Or look right at me.
Yeah.
Wait, do you watch New Girl?
No.
Damn it. Someone's jacking someone off under the table at dinner. And then everybody else finds out and they're like, oh, gross. And he's like, don't look at me. Or look right at me.